Welcome back to episode 4 of the Little Chip Podcast. Cute. Okay. So welcome back, everybody. I'm Cayla.
I'm Andrea.
And this is the Little Chip Podcast. And today we are talking about dating, which is going to be really interesting. But I wanted to pose a question first.
It's going to be very interesting since I have no clue about dating in this day and age.
Well, my question to you, Mom, is, you and Dad have like a pretty significant age gap. It's not like too crazy, but like 8 years-ish,
Yeah, it's almost 8 years.
So my question to you is, how old is too old for me?
Oh my God.
Like, if I told you I was bringing somebody home and he was X years older than me, you would be like, no, he's got to go. And keep in mind, I'm 23 now.
First of all, I don't feel like I can say he's got to go. No. I think I would point out to you the downfalls of a huge age gap, but I would never be like, Cayla, I mean, unless this person was like abusing you in some way, but I would never be able to be like, no, you have to get rid of me.
But how old would too old be? Like, if I was like, he's X years older than me, you would be like, Cayla, come on.
God. I think it was any more than 10 years older.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dad's almost 8 years older than me, and
yeah,
we've done just fine with the age gap, so I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want you to date somebody 8 years younger.
Oh, absolutely not. Well,
yeah.
Right now that would be illegal, so.
Well, yeah, right now, of course, but I mean, yeah, I don't know.
My rule that I've actually set for myself is I'll never date anybody my sister's age or older, because she's 5 years older than me, and my biggest fear is that I'm going to meet somebody who's her age or older, and then they're going to meet her, and then they're going to fall in love with her and try to leave me for my sister. And so that has been my rule, but 10 years I think is fair. I mean, but yeah. I feel like I would feel awkward dating a 33-year-old. Because that's like a man. That's like a man.
Real man. And then that man might have children and an ex-wife and all kinds of other things that you would have to consider.
Well, I mean, I'm not really worried about all that, but it's just like...
Well, I know. I'm just saying it's just things that you have to consider.
Yeah.
Like, would you be able to handle those kind of situations?
Yeah, just thinking about somebody 10 years older than me. Because, like, I don't have my life together whatsoever. So, like, dating somebody who's like, 33 with their life together just is really intimidating.
That's intimidating.
Yeah, so age gaps, 10 years for me sounds like too much. I'll stick with 5. 5 years or older. I'm like, if it's more than 5 years older than me, I might have to like do some soul searching. But because that's just, again, like my biggest fear is that I'm gonna meet somebody and then they're gonna meet Kimberly and be like, I'm in love with your sister, and then I'm gonna be like, no.
Oh my goodness.
Even though, yeah, anyway. But speaking of...
Well, but you guys don't even have the same... You don't like the same type of...
No, we have very different taste in men.
Yes.
Very
so
different
I don't think that's ever going to be an issue, but anyways.
Yeah. Sometimes whenever, like... Because me and my sister, like, we both have ventured into the dating app world, like, in and out, And sometimes we'll, like, see each other's dating apps and, like, who are the people that we're, like, swiping left and right on. And I'm always, like, sometimes nervous to, like, let her see, because we have such different taste that I'm like, oh my God, she's going to judge me for this. And, like, she does the same thing. She's like, oh, whatever. But also, like, she makes fun of the way that, because, well, this will bring us to the topic of dating apps. I use them, or I have in the past, and I have one right now. And they're fun. They're, like, really fun, especially, like, if you really are just, like, searching for compliments. Sometimes, like, if you need a confidence boost, like, sometimes they're not that bad,
Yeah,
well,
I guess it could totally be a little ego booster for sure.
Yeah, it is nice.
But that's if you're being totally honest on your dating app about what you look like and...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've definitely been catfished by a dating app before.
What?
Yeah. Like, you go to meet the person and they look nothing like their pictures.
Oh, my God.
It's like...
I know, but I didn't know that happened to you.
Yeah, that's the story when I was, like, quote-unquote held hostage in college.
Oh, yeah, no, let's not talk about that. Yeah, let's not go into that.
But anyway, yeah, I think dating apps are fine if you're, like, 100% honest about, like, you have to be really open and honest and straight up about what, like, why you're even on the dating app in the first place.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's different dating, like, all the different dating apps target towards different types of people. So like if you're on Tinder, that's a lot of people just looking for a hookup. If you're on Bumble, it's like on
so complicated these days.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm not dating.
But then like on Bumble, only girls can message the guy first. So you're only messaging people that you're like genuinely interested in or like whatever kind of thing, unless you're just looking for a hookup on Bumble, that's fine. But then there's like this one dating app called Hinge, which is the one that I have used, and it's like the slogan is the dating app designed to be deleted. So it's more for people who are really seriously just looking for a relationship and like looking for something serious. So the demographics on that app is like a little bit more older people because, or like late 20s to like and older, because it's more people who are actually like really serious about.
They're done with all this bullcrap.
Yeah, they're like really trying to like settle down. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely like 18-year-olds and like young people on there that are just like messing around, but it's like, for the most part, that one has been the most like you meet the least creepy people on that app from my research.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I would have no clue. I have never been on a dating app, obviously.
Well, yeah.
They didn't exist when I was dating age. So, but I do feel sorry for you
married.
guys. And then, yeah, I was married before I was 21. So,
yeah,
that has never been a thing for me. I'm so happy with my life, and I'm glad I never have to be on a dating app. I feel sorry for you guys. I feel so bad for you because I feel like it's so much pressure and so much. I don't know. I just feel like there's just so much. I don't know, because I've never been on one, so I have no idea what it's like. But I just think in general, social media is hard for you guys because there's this like expectation or societal expectations of what you should look like and who, you know, what kind of person you should be, and it's just so much. And then it's also scary, like you said, like that situation you got yourself into. I can't even believe that you were naive enough to do that, which I want to kill you, but whatever. But just the dangers of dating online and what can happen to you. I mean, obviously I watch too much true crime.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many instances of like, oh, she met this guy online or on this dating app and she met up with him and then she's dead or she's missing or whatever it is. And it's just
not
like, ugh.
I feel like a lot of the true crime shows, especially when we were like growing up watching them, it was all about like these young girls who were getting into these chat rooms and meeting this like guy on a chat room, and then they go to meet up with them and it's like a 50-year-old man. Like on dating apps, like on certain ones too, you have to verify like your photo and you have to verify like your Facebook profile, like something to like show that you're a real person and you're not like
I don't know any of this
everybody.
stuff, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, and also like one of the things you're also able to connect your Instagram to your dating profile, so people can like see your Instagram, and then you can see like if they really look like the pictures they're sharing on their profile or not. I don't do that just because I think it's weird. If somebody asked me for my Instagram, I would like tell them what it was so they could go look, but I'm not gonna like just openly put it out there for, I mean, it doesn't really matter because my Instagram's not private anyway, but but yeah, so you can do little things like that to try to keep it safer. And then obviously if you're ever going to meet up with, I feel like I'm telling you this as if you're going to do it, but like obviously like if I ever,
no, but I mean, I have no clue. I don't even know how these things work.
If I ever was going to go meet up with somebody, it's always in a public place. I have made the mistake before of going directly to
Except for that one time,
house. So if I ever do meet up with anybody, it's in a public space, like a restaurant, a park,
a coffee shop,
somewhere public. And I always, especially in college when I was like going on dates and stuff, I always made sure that my roommates had my location and knew where I was going and how long I was planning to be there and who I was going with, just for safety precautions. And multiple times in like my early college years, me and one of my friends were both on dating apps at the same time, and we did like a secret double date. So we both went on a date at the same place, but the guys that we were going on a date with didn't know that the other, so it was just to like
they didn't know y'all were friends.
Yeah, just to like keep an eye on each other so that we know like everybody's safe. But dating,
that's actually smart. That's a good idea.
Yeah, and it worked out. I mean, like we like went to the bathroom at the same time, and we were like like snickering because we were like ha ha ha. But yeah, I feel like that's the best way to do it. Or the other thing I did in college, especially when I started going out to like the country bars and dancing a lot, whoever I was trying to go on a date with, I would be like, hey, me and my friends are going to Whiskey River this weekend. Why don't you and your friends meet us there? And then you meet all in like a group setting, because I'm really awkward. So it's like I meet in a group setting, and then I had like Kaylee, who was like my wingman. So I had like somebody I felt
like a
comfortable
buffer, some kind of buffer.
And then if things didn't work out, you both just go to your own friend groups and go your separate ways and move on, and you're not like stuck on this awkward date.
Right.
So
that's smart too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always say. And that's another reason that I'm sad that I don't have like Kaylee or Carrie Ann in San Antonio, because if I wanted to go on a date and then I was like, oh yeah, come meet me and my friends, it would be me and a bunch of dudes, because all like my friend group in San Antonio right now is a bunch of boys. So
yeah, that might not go over too well.
Yeah, it would look like I had a group of bodyguards with me for a date. So but it's fine. But yeah, so I also started writing a notebook to my future husband, because I want to manifest like my future partner.
Yeah.
And I feel like the best way to do that is to just write letters as if he's already existing.
I agree with that. That's awesome.
And
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and so my plan is, like, I don't write in it every day, but I try to write in it at least like once a week.
Like when things come up.
Yeah. But my plan is to write in it until I actually like get married, and then that would be like my wedding gift to my future husband, is like all these letters over the years that I've written to him and letting him know, like, it's basically going to be like a handbook on how to like deal with me. Because I feel like once you get to the point where
everybody needs a handbook. Hey, this is what I do. This is how I am. This is my MO.
Yeah, and also I feel like
this is what you should expect.
But by the time somebody's married,
the do's and don'ts
of Cayla Conner. Yeah. But I feel like by the time it gets to me getting married, like whoever I'm marrying would already know how to like deal with me, because obviously they like decided to spend the rest of their life with me anyway. But anyway, yeah. And one of the first like entries I wrote was literally just a list of things that I want in a partner. And every time I write another like letter to him, to my future husband, I go back and look at that list of things that I was like, these are things I really want in a partner, and I like cross stuff off, because I'm like, I don't want that anymore, and I'll like write down the date that I edited it,
or it's not as important to you anymore.
So it's like it was
not
written
a priority.
Like it was written on X day, and then like I crossed out number 5 on whatever day I wrote the letter. So it's like I can go back and look at the dates that I crossed off things that are no longer like deal breakers for me. Like when I first wrote the letter, like a couple of the things were like, has to like yeehaw country life, has to like country dancing, and it's like, I don't care about that anymore. Like that's not a priority, that's not important to me. Like that was my life in Corpus, and if I still lived in Corpus and I was still in college, like that would be something really important to me, because that was like a big part of my life in college was going out dancing. But it's like I don't do that anymore, so why does that need to be a priority?
Yeah, it doesn't need to. But it's kind of cool that you had all that written down, because then you can like go back and see how you've kind of evolved.
Yeah, exactly.
As an adult or whatever. And that's really cool.
Yeah, and then I can go, and then whenever I meet like whoever I'm gonna marry, like whenever I'm like proposed to or whatever, I can go back and look and be like, oh yeah, like he ticks all these boxes that I left open that were the priorities for me. And that's kind of like my goal with it. But it's been interesting whenever I write it down, because then I feel like I almost like envision who I'm writing to, which is probably not good because I don't want to like but I always like, whenever I'm writing a letter, like I have like a person in mind, or like then the next letter I write, I'm like, oh, this could be for, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, but
I wish I had been that creative at your age.
Needless to say, I am super single right now. So yeah, but what were some of your like deal breakers before you met Dad?
God, I was so young when I met Dad that I didn't even have time to think about deal breakers, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Obviously I didn't want to marry somebody who was doing drugs. I mean, that was like an obvious at the time. I didn't want to marry someone who was like, it's very personal, but I didn't want to marry somebody that was like my dad. Definitely did not want that. That honestly, that was the only deal breaker. I didn't have any other, like, I wasn't, oh, I want to marry a Hispanic guy, or I want to marry a white guy or a black guy. I didn't have any of those expectations. I just wanted to meet somebody who was going to treat me well, and that I was going to be happy with. Obviously, I didn't expect every single day to be fairy tale, but I didn't. That was probably the only. If I can, that now that you mentioned that, that was probably the only deal breaker I ever had. Was like, okay, I don't want to marry somebody who's doing drugs. Obviously, I wanted to marry someone who had a job. I didn't want to marry someone that I was going to be supporting, like, on my own or whatever. And I didn't want to marry somebody that was like my dad.
That reminds me, that actually, like, brings something else up. Like, I feel like whenever I tell you or Kimberly or, like, any of my friends, like, oh, I met this guy, or, like, that I'm interested in this person, one of the first things y'all always ask me is, like, well, what does he do? Like, what's his job? Is he in school? Is he, and it's, like, to me, that, like, doesn't matter. Like, obviously, I don't want to marry somebody who is just going to be, like,
a deadbeat. You don't want a deadbeat.
Like, I don't want
laying at home while you're working, slaving away.
Yeah, like, I don't necessarily want to be, like, I don't mind being the breadwinner, but I don't want to be, like, the only person contributing to the, like, income, you know?
Right.
But it's, like, if somebody doesn't think college is right for them, don't go to college. It's not going to hurt. Like, it's not good. Like, you going to college is not going to, you going or not going to college is not going to make me decide whether or not I date you. Because, like, there's so many people who go to college and they're like, this is not for me. Yeah, and then they go find something else to do, or they, like, start a business, or they go to the oil field, or they go to, like,
they learn a trade.
They learn a trade or something like that. And it's like, whatever, if you're not, one of the most important things I was ever told in college was you need to live to work, not work to live. So
okay,
you need to live. You need to
I've heard that.
You need to be really happy with your job, and you need to be living to go to work every day, so that because you love your job so much, instead of just going to work so that you can pay the bills and, like, you know,
right.
And so, yeah, I just feel like college isn't for everybody, and it's not necessary, and it's not, like, a deal breaker for me. Depending on the job, it's like jobs technically really aren't, like, a deal breaker for me either. I mean, I've dated guys that worked in all kinds of jobs. Like, I've dated guys in retail. I dated a guy who worked at a pizza shop. I dated a guy who went to the oil field. Like, and this was all while I was in college, so obviously none of us had, like, big corporate jobs yet.
Right.
But I just feel like it doesn't really matter as long as you're happy.
Well, as long as they're being a productive human being. It's not like you're... What if you met someone who wanted to be a stay-at-home dad?
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there would need to be, like, a conversation that goes into that, but because, like, I don't, again, it would also depend on what my job is. Am I making enough money to actually, like, sustain the household for a period of time so that my husband can be a stay-at-home dad? And if yes, then, like, sure. Do I actually like my job that's going to sustain the household?
Yeah.
And then, you know, while I'm at work all day and he's being a stay-at-home dad, what is he going to be doing? Is he going to be just, like, sitting on the couch watching TV while my kids, like, run rampant around the house?
Yeah.
Or is he going to, you know, and also when the kids start going to school, what's he going to be doing? You know, things like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't really see the problem. We're in 2021. Like,
I know. Well, you guys are so much more educated about relationships, though, because, like, Dad and I just, like, okay, he asked me out on a date. I went on a date with him. We went on another date. And then, like, I don't know, like, a week. Then we were, like, inseparable. And then at one point he was just like, can I call you my girlfriend, or are you going to be my girlfriend? And it was like, yeah, like, I'll be your girlfriend. And then we were just boyfriend and girlfriend. And it was like,
well, I feel like the same kind of thing
we
happens.
never discussed, like, okay, so what do you think about having kids? What do you think about retirement?
I've never asked those questions on a date.
No, but, like, I feel like now some people are in therapy before they even get married, like couples counseling and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think, well, okay, not that I think everybody should, but I think, well, I mean, like,
it's not a bad idea, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and if you're religious and you get married through a church, the pastor of that church will have you and your partner go to couples counseling before they even agree to marry you.
Yeah, well, Dad and I did do that.
Yeah.
But we didn't, like, full-fledged go, like, oh, let's go to a therapist or a couples counselor or whatever.
I think I would only take that step if me and whoever I was with was, like, super serious about getting married, but there were, like, issues, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if we were like, we really, really love each other, but there's a few issues that we just can't figure out, before we decide to get married, we should probably go see a therapist for this. Then I don't see a problem with that. But if I'm just like, just started dating somebody, I'm like, hey, will you go to couples counseling with me? Like, that's a little, like, that's a little much.
I know. Well, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I guess it's so different now, because when your dad and I were dating, it was kind of like, you're cool. I think you're cool too. I like you. I like you too. I love you. I love you too. Okay, let's get married.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, there was like not as much thought as, just because, I mean, at the time we were just like having so much fun together. And I mean, we still have fun together. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We still have fun together. Of course, we love being around each other. But at the time, it wasn't like, let's talk about how we're going to have, are we going to have separate checking accounts, a joint checking? I mean, we didn't even discuss that stuff.
Yeah, it was a different time.
It was. Like, really, it really was. It was like, okay, let's get married.
It was like way more traditional. Like, like what y'all did was way more the traditional. Like, we go on dates, we start dating, we're engaged, we're getting married, we put our bank accounts together, we build a house, we have a kid.
Yeah, it was so
so
cliche of like the American.
Yeah, and y'all like you were very young when y'all got married, so it's like, get married young, go live your life. And it's like, now I'm 23, and like, you know, growing up, because I knew how young you were when you and dad got married, I had always had this pressure on myself to do the same thing. Like, I needed to be married.
I don't know why you would do that to
because
yourself.
because I've always wanted to be like you. Like, growing up, like, I just wanted to be just like you. And so
that is a really nice compliment, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, it is. Like, I mean, do I want to be just like you now?
No, and I don't want. Like, I would never want you to be just like me.
Yeah, but growing up, I wanted to do everything the exact same way that you did it, to the point where I was like, ooh, maybe I'll even be a nurse. But then, obviously, like, I hate needles and blood and all that. So that was never going to work out. But
that clearly did not work out.
Yeah, but so I put this pressure on myself at a very young age. Like, I need to get married at 20, and I need to have kids by 24 and all this stuff. And now I'm 23, and it's like, it doesn't really matter. And like,
it doesn't. It really doesn't.
And also, like, there was like this funny thing I saw on Twitter that it was like for Gen Z / like millennials, so like my generation.
Wait, what are you again?
I think I'm Gen Z.
Oh, okay. I can't remember what I am.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'm not. I don't know. Anyway, there's so many. But I was born in 1998, so if anybody knows what generation that puts me in, let me know. But there's a new saying that for my generation and even millennials, pets are the new kids. And plants are the new pets.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Yeah, so people are getting pets, and obviously, like, I treat my pets like they're my children. And then people are getting plants and taking care of them the way that you would a pet.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I thought it was like really fitting and also like very accurate. But I mean, eventually I do want kids, and I do want a family, and I do want like all that. But I don't. It's like not a. Like, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow for me.
You don't have a timeline anymore.
Yeah. And also, like, not to get too deep, but just to be, like, honest, I went through a really shitty relationship at the end of high school and beginning of college. That it was really like bad. 4 to 5 years of on and off, just, like, fighting and mental and emotional abuse on both sides. And it was just really, really ugly. And so, and the breakup was horrible. And all of it was just like really terrible. And I still have a lot of love for that person, but obviously that's not who I was supposed to be with. And I think like part of it at that point too, I was just so insecure in myself, and I was like jealous about everything. And so was he. And we couldn't communicate well because we were young and stupid. And like the first year,
it's not that you're stupid. You're just not.
We just didn't know how to like handle it.
Of course.
And the first year and a half of our relationship was great. Like barely any fighting. Like super obsessed with each other. Did everything together. Then I went to college and things started to get a little rough,
shaky.
And we ended up breaking up. And then we were like on and off. And it was just really horrible. And that relationship taught me a lot about myself, because once it was finally over and done with, and there was like no going back, not getting back together, like this is the last straw kind of thing, that's when I kind of started going to therapy. And it just made me realize that like the things that I would get so upset about in that relationship are just so irrelevant. And I feel like I was definitely a crazy girlfriend. Like Just like I really was like the stereotypical.
Everybody has been the crazy girlfriend.
I was very much like a stereotypical like crazy girlfriend in that relationship, and I look back and I'm like, why? Like, why did that situation bother me so much? Like, why did that one person like affect my entire relationship? Like, and now I feel like if I got into a relationship, I'm at such like a better place, like mentally regarding relationships, that I would be the best girlfriend ever now, because literally nothing bothers me. I don't get upset very easily. Like in general,
there are things that are worth getting upset about, but
but in general, I'm kind of not like a very hard, like I'm not a very, it takes a lot to get me really, really upset. I'm like, I feel like I'm super laid back and go with the flow kind of person. And so I feel like if I were in a relationship now, it would be solid.
Well, you would be more mature in how you handle different situations. I mean,
well, yeah, and it goes back to my letters to my future husband. Like, there's just so many things that don't matter to me anymore. And like, the last quote unquote relationship I had in college, like, the guy I was dating was awesome. Like, he was super sweet, like, great guy, took really good care of me. My only rule in that relationship literally was like, if you're gonna do anything, like, you know, whatever you're gonna do, like, just give me a heads up and don't die. Like, like if you're, because they would sometimes ask me for permission to like go out to get drinks with like their friends after work, and I'd be like, I'm not your mom. Like, you don't need my permission for that. Just be like, hey, I'm going to the bar with my friends after work, and I'm not gonna die. Like, that was literally it, and that's like all I expect. Obviously, be nice to me, right? But and also like, when I first started going to therapy, like after that really bad relationship, it kind of was like, looking back now, it's like really heartbreaking and sad. But when my therapist was asking me like what I want in a relationship in the future at that point, the first thing I said was like, I just want someone that's going to be nice to me. And like, looking back now, it's like, that's the bare minimum. Like, I shouldn't have to ask for somebody to be nice to me.
Yeah, and that should be a given. I mean, to treat you with respect and kindness and all that. I mean, that's like, that's the bare minimum.
So now I have like higher standards, but not like too high. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm ready for a relationship whenever that happens, and it'll be really good. But I did put on the Instagram, I asked people if they had any like questions or like dating stories and whatnot, and I got one dating story that was really, really, really long and also really crazy, so I don't know if I want to read it.
Okay.
And I know who it was from, but we're keeping everything anonymous. But there was a lot of questions. There was like a few questions, but it was basically all different variations of the same question, which is how do we even define dating, because it's so different from generation to generation. So when you were like growing up in high school, like what was considered dating? Like, if you said you were dating, what did that mean?
Well, I think when I was in high school, it wasn't even called dating. Oh, they're dating. No. Oh, they're like going around. We never said going steady. That was like that was even older than my generation. But it was like, oh yeah, we didn't say going out. We didn't say that either. I was just like, oh yeah, they're going around. Or that's so-and-so. Yeah, that's
interesting.
I don't know. I know, it was weird. Oh yeah, they're going around. Or then at a certain point, there were people who were like together for a long time. Which, in looking back, it wasn't a long time. But to us at that age, like 6 months is a long time, you know? So you always knew who was like
boyfriend and girlfriend.
The couples, who the couples were, right? You know, oh god, yeah, they've been
going around for 6 months.
Yes, exactly. They've been going around. I don't know where they were going around to, but
interesting.
Yeah, I think it was like, I think that's what they called it. I don't know. I can't remember. I really don't.
That's so weird.
I like to block out my high school years, so
me too. So then how would you like now at your, like where you're at now, like what would you, if somebody asked like what is dating now, like what would you think it is?
Based on, so the younger coworkers now that I have and you, of course, as young adult that you are, dating to me sounds like you're just Well, I don't know, because somebody, you could say, oh yeah, he's dating. That means he's like dating, he or she is dating more than one person. Mm-hmm. But if you said, yeah, him and I were dating, then that makes it sound like you're only dating each other. So I don't even know what y'all call it these days. I don't know.
Well, I know, like, when I was growing up, like, if you wanted to be boyfriend and girlfriend with someone, you had to ask them out.
Yeah.
Like, you asked them out. Like, oh, he asked me out. And it's like... Where?
I know. It was kind of weird when you were growing up too, and I was like, he's asking you out to go where? No, he's just asking me out, and I'm like,
oh. The other one that was like really big when I was like in high school and stuff too is, oh, we're talking.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
what it was.
Like, oh, we're just talking.
What do you mean we're talking? Talking about what?
Yeah,
no,
so
we're
like,
talking. Oh, okay.
So like, not boyfriend and girlfriend. Not like you're not. He hasn't asked you out yet. You're in the talking stage. So you're just like getting to know each other and like deciding whether or not you want to, you know.
Yeah, I know. I remember thinking like, oh my God, y'all are so young to just be like, no, he's not my boyfriend. We're just talking. And I don't know. It was so weird. I was like, oh, okay. So you're like trying each other out. And if you don't like
it's a trial run.
Yeah,
it's like your 14-day free trial on like on like Paramount Plus or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Don't get me wrong. I don't know.
Well, no, I think now if I like currently what I'm doing in life is I'm dating. So I'm going on multiple dates with different people. But then it is interchangeable, because then like if I were like whenever hopefully sometime soon, if I get a boyfriend, it's like, oh, now I'm dating him, and now it's like exclusive.
And do y'all say that? Do you say the word exclusive?
No, I honestly I haven't been like in a relationship in a while now.
Yeah.
So I don't even know, like the last time I was quote unquote asked out to be someone's girlfriend was before senior year of high school. So like so if somebody were to ask me to be their girlfriend now, I don't even know what that looks like or like what that's called.
Yeah, is it just like after a while it's like understood that you're not going to see other people, or do you have a conversation about that?
No,
like,
I feel like
hey, are you seeing other people? Or no, I don't want to see other people. I only want to see you. Like,
no, I feel like a lot of people do have that conversation of like,
what are we?
Yeah, like what are we? And it's like we're not like officially boyfriend and girlfriend yet, but we don't want to see anybody else quite. Like we're like good not seeing other people, so you're like exclusive to each other, but you're not, there's no label on it yet. I feel like my generation is really scared of labels.
Oh.
Yeah, like they're terrified to like put a label on things.
Then you're tied down to it somehow.
Yeah, and I know like a lot of people in my generation, they are still
commitment phobes.
We are commitment phobes. We have all of us have a lot of commitment issues. We have a lot of trust issues. But I feel like we are also, like, a lot of us, especially, like, I know personally a lot of people are just still kind of in their, like, party phase. Mm-hmm. And so they don't want to be tied down to one person. They still want to go out to the bars and, like, meet a bunch of people. And they still want to, you know, flirt around and not have to worry about, like, getting in trouble with their boyfriend or girlfriend for, like, flirting, you know? So I feel like commitment phobe is a really good word for it. I feel like we're all commitment phobes. And, yeah, I definitely was.
Commitment is a lot of work, and I think that it's a lot of effort, and it's a lot of, you know, I don't want to say sacrifice. There are some sacrifices, of course, but that's what you do when you meet someone that you actually want to make a commitment to. Mm-hmm. And I think it just scares people these days to, like, say, I'm committing to only being with you. It's just, it scares people. I don't know why, but.
Yeah, and I think also, like, the older I get, it's like, the more I think about the next person I am in a relationship could potentially be the person that I marry and am with for the rest of my life, and that's a scary thought as well. Like, obviously I want to get married one day, but it's like, I don't know. And also, don't get me wrong, like, relationships are great, but I have had a really good time the last couple of years, the last, like, 2 years, just being single.
Yeah, and you like, should have that. Fun. I feel like you should have that time.
Yeah, and just, like, having fun. And I have a lot of friends who are, like, never single. Like, they're always in relationships, and there's nothing wrong with that either. But I just feel like for my personal growth, I really needed to take, like, a year or two to just be alone and figure out what I didn't even know who I was as a single person. Yeah. And so I really needed, like, the last 2 years to just be single and, like, have fun with my friends and do whatever I wanted to do without, like, having to worry about another person. But think I'm ready now.
That is one thing I'll say. Like, I'm glad that you've had this time to be Cayla and do your thing without the distraction of another person, because it's very easy to lose yourself when you get into a relationship and all of a sudden you dive in and you can lose your identity if you don't keep those things, if you're not strong enough to keep those things that make you you and not let someone steal that from you. You know what I mean? Like, so now you're your own person. I feel like if you're ready to be in a relationship, it's because somebody's going to add to your life, not like make you, you're not searching for someone to make you happy because you're already happy with where you're at, which is good. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I feel so many people are out there like, oh, I just want someone to make me happy. Well, you know what? You need to be happy first. You have to look inside yourself and be happy first. Then,
and also,
otherwise you're going to be disappointed forever.
Yeah, and you also have to like learn to love yourself before other people can love you, and that's like a never-ending journey of self-love.
Yes.
But I do feel like, well, I don't know. The last couple of weeks, my brain has been a mess, but I do feel like overall, though, over the last like few months, I've been like more and more serious about potentially like trying to, get back into the dating world and see like what's out there. But it is scary.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I cannot imagine. Oh my gosh.
But I did find a couple useless facts. Like, they're kind of useless, but they're also kind of interesting. And one of them actually reminds me of you and Dad.
Oh gosh.
But this first fact is, it says, mentioning that you went to college will increase the chance of you paying for the dinner by 84%.
What?
So if I'm like, oh yeah, like I went to college, I have a
job,
I have a bachelor's degree in psychology.
And do guys these days expect
no, well, I don't know. Like over the last couple of years, all the dates that I've been on, I always offer to pay for myself, but like the guy pays for me. And even
that's nice.
Yeah, and even like with my friends who are all guys, like a lot of times when we go out, like they'll buy my drinks or like if we go somewhere and eat, like they'll pay for my food and I'll just like Venmo them later. Or like at this point, we've all paid for each other's food so many times that like we don't even send money to each other because we just know like next time
Right.
But as far as dating goes, yeah, like I've always had guys pay for my meals so far. I do know people who have gone on dates and they don't pay for their meals, and it's like they're like ugh about it.
Yeah.
But I always offer to pay for myself, and then they're like, no, I asked you on a date, and I'm like, oh, okay, you're right, you pay. So the other fact that was on there that says, on average, trash cans are the focal point of conversation in kitchens between couples. And it made me...
Trash can?
Yeah, and it made me think of when y'all bought this house, that y'all almost didn't buy the house because Dad wanted the trash can so bad.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's because he wanted it so bad. He was just playing the negotiating game. Mm-hmm. And the trash can was part of that. He's like, I want that trash can, so I'm going to make that, like, that's going to be the issue in negotiating.
For the listeners, the trash can is, like, how much is it?
I don't even know. It's a fancy trash can.
It's so fancy. It's, like, motion censored, so you wave your hand over the top of it, and it opens.
Yeah.
And Dad is so bougie with his gadgets. Like, he has all the nicest, like, kitchen gadgets and cooking gadgets and the tablet and the phones and all that. Like, he's so bougie with, like, his stuff. He, like, really wants, like, tip-top fanciness. And so I'm sure when y'all came to see the house and he saw the trash can, he was like, that has to stay.
Yeah, he did. He made that part of the negotiating. And, well, we won. We got the trash can.
Yeah, it's here. But it's like you could have just bought your own.
That's what I said. Do we really need to negotiate over a trash can? I promise I'll buy you the trash can you want. Like,
that's so
yeah,
funny.
It was kind of weird.
But okay, well,
that's an interesting fact, though. People talk about the trash.
Well, not the trash, but the trash can.
Oh, the trash can.
So if we're like all sitting in the kitchen and hanging out, like the topic of conversation is the trash can.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So we were talking about potentially doing like would you rather questions on the podcast. And I was trying to find some like dating themed ones, but all of them were just like would you rather questions that you would ask on a first date to your like whoever you're on a date with. But I did find one, a Cosmopolitan article that says 18 would you rather questions about dating that will probably ruin your life. So I want to go through them.
Okay, yeah. Go.
So the first one is, would you rather forget your date's name 1 hour into a dinner date or accidentally call them by your mom or dad's name?
Oh, God. I think I would rather forget their name.
Me too. I don't want to call them, hey, Chris. Oh, that's not your name.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the second one is, would you rather find out someone you really like hates dogs or find out they recently cheated on their most recent ex?
Oh, I would rather find out that they hated dogs.
I wouldn't.
You would rather not know that before you go into this relationship and you love dogs?
I'd rather find out that they hate dogs.
That's what I said.
No, you said you'd rather them.
I said I'd rather find out that they hate dogs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said the other one, my bad. Okay, anyway.
But actually, I don't know. Maybe I want to know that they cheated on their last.
I don't think I want to know.
Oh, okay.
Because then it's going to put like a...
It's already a negative.
Yeah. I'd rather find out they hate dogs and then not go on the date with them.
Yeah, everybody deserves second chances. So.
Yeah. Okay, would you rather on every first date have hiccups the whole time? Okay, wait, this one's really funny. On the first date, would you rather on the first date have hiccups the whole time or fart midway through and your date notices it and says something?
I would rather have hiccups the whole time.
I started reading. I didn't like proofread these before this podcast. Okay. Number 4 is, would you rather fall in love with someone who's allergic to all of your favorite foods or fall in love with someone who makes embarrassing dad jokes at every restaurant?
Oh my God. I think
I'd pick the dad jokes.
Me too.
Yeah. Dad jokes are funny. I don't think they're like embarrassing.
They're just, they're funny.
They're goofy.
Goofy.
They're very like, you have to have a specific sense of humor to appreciate a good dad joke. Yeah. Would you rather on a first date run into your most recent ex or run into both of your parents? I'll answer this. I'd rather run into my parents. Nothing against my most recent ex, but I would rather run into y'all because y'all would probably join and then pay for the dinner.
Of course. Oh my God. No, we would make sure that whoever you were with is going to pay for your dinner.
Okay, well, anyway. Okay, well, what would you do? Your parents or your most recent ex? Who's your most recent ex?
I know. I couldn't even tell you.
27 years ago.
I know. 30 almost.
Oh, God.
I would rather run into my parents. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, would you rather have to wear a Halloween costume on every date for the next 3 years or be banned from dating for the next year?
I would rather be banned from dating.
I don't know. I think wearing a Halloween costume would be funny.
That would be funny.
But I would rather be banned for dating. Mm-hmm. Okay. Would you rather go on a date with a really hot person who only speaks pig Latin or go on a date with someone and realize they look just like your cousin?
I would rather date someone who looked like my cousin. I'm not dealing with the pig Latin. Sorry.
Can you imagine?
No.
You wouldn't be able to communicate on your date like at all.
I would start like going off in Spanish and be like, you're out of here.
Okay. Would you rather snort every time you laugh or share an intimate first kiss after eating a salad with onion, garlic, and blue cheese dressing?
Oh, gross.
I'd rather snort.
I'd rather snort. Yes, me too.
Okay, would you rather... Oh, goodness gracious. I should have proofread these, but anyway. Would you rather have 3 flavored condoms fall out of your wallet on a first date or knock your entire drink into your date's lap twice?
Oh my God.
I'd let the condoms fall out.
Yeah, me too. I'd be like, oh, well.
You knew what I was expecting on this date. Would you rather every person you date for the next 5 years wears sneakers that light up or every person you date for the next 6 months ghosts you? 5 years of light up sneakers, that would mean that I'm dating people who are wearing light up sneakers until I'm 28.
That's no.
I'd go with the ghosting.
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather run into your date's most recent ex on a first date or go on a date with someone who refuses to answer any questions about their ex? That's a good one.
Wait, what was the first part? You were talking so fast.
Oh, sorry. Would you rather run into your date's most recent ex on a first date Or go on a date with someone who refuses to answer any questions about their ex.
Oh, no. I would rather run into the person's ex.
Yeah, I feel like, well, actually, I don't know. Because I feel like, well, this brings me to another topic. I have a friend who, relationship-wise, is, like, complete opposite of me. And, she hates to know anything about her partner's ex relationships, because then she will, like, start to, like, overthink about it. And not in a good way. But I feel like you have to know something. I feel like you should know something, because then it kind of tells you about the person, like what they're like in a relationship. I want to see
what their interaction was like. Is it friendly? Are they ugly to each other? Like, if
good question.
Yeah. Like,
would you be able, well, I guess this is more for me because you've been married for a long time, but what's your opinion on being friends with your ex?
Well, when you're married, that's just not, no.
No, but just like in general.
Like your
in general.
Partners being...
No, like you're like, what's your opinion on, well, you or your partner, like what's your opinion on just being friends with your ex?
I don't know. It's hard, because that person's going to move on, you're going to move on, and then the new person in your life is maybe not going to be so comfortable with you being so friendly with your ex. Are you going to be civil? Yeah, of course. Be civil with them. You don't need to be best friends, buddies. Yeah. You don't need to go out to happy hour with your ex, like as a buddy. I don't know. I think there's some boundaries.
I'm still friends with a lot of my exes.
Yeah, but also you're still so young. It's like you guys were just kids. You didn't even know what you were doing.
Yeah, I feel like we don't count it.
Yeah,
because we were little. We
were
young.
Yes.
Okay, so would you rather only be able to speak in rhyme for an entire first date without offering them an explanation, or have to recite the Pledge of Allegiance before each bite?
Oh my God, I'd rather rhyme.
Every time you go to take a bite of food, I pledge allegiance.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Pledge of Allegiance, but why would I have to do that before every bite? That's crazy.
Okay, would you rather go on a date with someone who does magic tricks the entire time, or go on a date with someone who tries to sell you Cutco knives at the end of the date?
The magic tricks.
Me too. That's funny. Okay, would you rather involuntarily giggle every time your date says the word "the," or be physically incapable of using words that contain the letter A?
Oh my God, that would be so hard.
Every time they say "the," you're like, hee hee.
I would do that. I would totally do that, because I'd be like...
Okay, there's only a couple more.
Okay, just one or two more.
Okay, would you rather go on a date with someone who can't eat anything before they've posted it on Instagram, or go on a date with someone who live tweets the entire date? Do you know what live tweeting is?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a hard one.
I'd go with the Instagram picture.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, would you rather realize an hour into a first date that you've been out with this person before, or accidentally call them by your ex's name 3 times in a row?
Oh God. I would rather find out that I've been out with that person before.
I don't know, that they're both embarrassing.
That's super embarrassing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Luckily, I don't need to worry about any of that.
Yeah. Well, I guess as this podcast continues, it'll just, the more my dating life changes, hopefully, we can just chit chat about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Get some updates. See how it's going. How it's not going.
See how it's going. We're not going. Yeah.
Yes.
But that was fun.
Yeah,
it was funny. But it's time for us to go eat dinner. So.
We is out.
We will see you next week. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Little Chip Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Little Chip Podcast, and send us in questions. Go to littlechippodcast.com and then send us in questions or stories or anything fun, any ideas that you guys have that you want to hear us talk about.
And don't forget, if you like the podcast, share it with everyone you know.
Yeah, share it with a friend, and you can also leave a review. We are now officially, at this point, on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Google, literally anywhere you can find podcasts, we're on there. So, tell your friends.
Thank you.
Bye.
Big kiss, little kiss.
Big hug, little hug.